Whether you vote red, blue, or not at all, whether you're struggling to pay rent, raising a family, running your own business, or just trying to stay afloat, this new law, the one the Senate passed in July 2025, affects you. It's officially called the One Big Beautiful Bill, but don't let the name fool you. This bill is massive, it's complicated, and it could shape the next 10 years of your life, whether you realize it or not. In this video, we're going to break it all down. What's inside the Big Beautiful Bill, who it helps and who it hurts. Most importantly, why it matters to you. Let's get started. On July 1st, 2025, the U.S. Senate passed one of the most sweeping legislative packages in recent history. The bill's formal name is H.R. 1. But most people now call it the Big Beautiful Bill. It passed along party lines, 50-50, with Vice President J.D. Vance casting the tie-breaking vote. President Trump signed it into law on July 4th. He called it a gift for every hard-working American. The truth is more complicated. This bill is over 870 pages long, and it touches almost every part of American life: taxes, healthcare, education, immigration, energy, and more. Let's break it down section by section so you know what's changing and how it might affect you. First, let's talk about taxes. This bill reshapes the way people and businesses are taxed. One of the biggest changes? It makes the 2017 Trump tax cuts permanent. Those cuts were set to expire in 2025. Now they're here to stay. That means lower income tax rates for most people. But the largest benefits go to the top 10% of earners. Let's look at examples. If you make $40,000 a year, you might save about $400 in taxes. But if you make $400,000 a year, you could save over $10,000. The bill also expands deductions for small businesses and freelancers. So if you drive for Uber, run an Etsy shop, or freelance, you could deduct more of your business income. There's also a new tax break for tips and overtime. If you work in hospitality or retail, this might lower your taxable income. But here's the other side. Many of these benefits fade out for lower income earners, and they don't make up for what's being cut elsewhere in the bill. Now let's talk about health care, because the Big Beautiful Bill makes big changes to Medicaid and SNAP. Under this bill, Medicaid now requires work. If you're between the ages of 19 and 64, you need to prove you work at least 80 hours per month or be in school or job training to qualify. That includes people who are single parents or caregivers. If your child is over the age of 14, the work requirement still applies. Let's take an example. A 35-year-old single mom working 2 part-time jobs may still not meet the new documentation rules and could lose her health coverage. States can now charge monthly copays. So if you're on Medicaid, you might start paying $35 or more just to see a doctor. SNAP, the food stamp program, is also changing. States must now verify your work hours more often. If you don't meet them, you could be removed from the program. So what's the result? The Congressional Budget Office estimates that 10 to 12 million Americans could lose access to healthcare or food assistance in the next 10 years. These changes especially affect low-income families, people with disabilities, and rural Americans. Let's move to energy and the environment. The Big Beautiful Bill reverses many green energy incentives from recent years. If you were planning to buy an electric vehicle, the $7,500 federal rebate is now gone. No more clean energy credit for EVs like Teslas, Rivians, or Chevy Bolts. If you installed solar panels on your home last year, you likely got a 30% tax credit. That's also being phased out. Home energy efficiency programs like weatherization rebates, heat pump upgrades, and appliance discounts have been gutted or eliminated. Instead, the bill increases support for oil, gas, and coal production. It speeds up fossil fuel leasing on public lands and offers new subsidies to domestic drilling companies. So while some energy jobs may grow, particularly in traditional sectors, clean energy industries like solar, wind, and battery manufacturing could slow down. Next, immigration. This bill massively increases funding for border enforcement and interior immigration control. It allocates $150 billion to border infrastructure. That includes new sections of wall, drone surveillance, and motion sensors. ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, will see its budget double by 2029. That makes ICE the highest-funded law enforcement agency in the country. If you're undocumented or have family members going through the immigration process, expect longer wait times, stricter rules, and more enforcement actions. This also affects asylum seekers and refugees. Processing standards are tightening, and the number of legal entries may decrease. Supporters say the system was broken and needed fixing. Critics say this creates fear, division, and injustice for immigrant communities. Let's talk about education. If you're in college or planning to go, this bill may limit how much you can borrow. Graduate student loans are now capped at $20,500 per year with a lifetime limit of $100,000. For those pursuing law, medical, or other advanced degrees, the cap is $200,000. That means if you're a future doctor, lawyer, or academic, you may need to seek private loans once you hit that cap. And for those who hoped to use public service loan forgiveness, eligibility has been tightened. Only certain job titles now qualify, and partial forgiveness timelines are longer. This hits younger Americans especially hard at a time when tuition and living costs are still rising. If you work for the federal government or plan to, this bill makes some quiet but significant changes. It trims back retirement benefits for civil servants, and it reduces the protections that make it difficult to fire federal employees. Let's say you're a VA nurse, a park ranger, or a scientist at the EPA. Your pension contributions may now be taxed at a higher rate, and your job security may depend more on performance metrics and less on tenure. Some say this will increase efficiency, others worry it will politicize government agencies and erode career protections. Now let's talk money on a national level. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that this bill will add between $2.8 and $4 trillion to the federal deficit over 10 years. That's in addition to the current $34 trillion national debt. Supporters argue that growth will offset the debt. Critics warn it puts pressure on future spending like Social Security and Medicare. Public response? Mostly negative. A majority of Americans, between 55% and 60%, disapprove of the bill. Even some Republicans voted against it, citing concerns about fairness, inflation, and long-term fiscal impact. So why should you care? Because even if you don't follow politics, this bill follows you. If you're on Medicaid, you may have to work more just to keep seeing a doctor. If you're in school, you might not be able to borrow enough to finish your degree. If you work in clean energy, your industry might shrink. If you're a taxpayer, your refund may go up, but the cost could be paid later through cuts or debt. And if you're raising kids, trying to get ahead, or just planning your future, you deserve to know how these policies shape the world you're living in. This bill affects workers, students, families, immigrants, small business owners, retirees, everyone. So whether you agree with it or not, it's important to stay informed. If this breakdown helped you understand the big, beautiful bill, please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Your awareness matters, your voice matters, and knowledge is power, especially in a time like this. Thanks for listening. Take care and stay informed.